Well, we are live, and I am so excited about our podcast today. We have a special guest with us. So, Rosalind, thank you so much for joining us in this session. Um, I would love for you to take a few moments to introduce yourself, tell the people what you do so that, they can have some insight on all the wonderful things that you help people with.
Thank you so much, Amikio and Andre. It is an honor. I thank you so much for this moment. I'm excited, meditated today, as always, and before this. So I'm ready for us to serve the people and partner. So I'm Rosalind Price, and I'm the CEO of R. Richard Price Consulting and the creator of Mind the Transitions. I am a grief coach and a transition strategist. So, what I do is I help people move forward and navigate grief and loss that is accompanied by or that is experienced when life altering changes are experienced in their journey. So, not like a therapist who goes into the recesses of history and diagnoses and things of that nature. I work with folks, professionals, individuals, entrepreneurs, leaders, businesses, and organizations who want to define and design journeys specific to grief and loss and life altering change by their design and definition, and how we do that and how we help them move forward and navigate and manage through it. So that is what I do.
I listen. I love that, and we got a little taste of what you do. I wasn't expecting it, but it happened, and I was like, okay, she cold. She know what she's doing. So I'm gonna just let y'all know she's the real deal. We don't play with no fakes and phonies. She is the real deal, and she knows what she's talking about. And what I love most importantly is that you really listen. You lean in and you listen, and then it's how you give it back to me. I'm like, oh, okay. I didn't think about it like that. It's amazing. So I want to just say we got a couple people on right now. We have our cousin Deja on. Hey, how you
Hey,
doing,
family.
cuz? We have Michiko on. Hey, how you doing?
How you
We're excited
doing?
to have you on. We do have a couple people that's on YouTube. I don't know who you are, but hey, thank you all for joining us. Thank you all for being with us today. I think I also have our daughter Ashley is on as well. So listen, put your comments in the chat, ask questions. This is your time to ask Rosalind, our grief and transition coach, as much as you like while we're here today. So Andre, I'm gonna toss it over to you to see what you want to say. If you want to kick anything off before I just kind of go into the flow. Go ahead.
Well, first of all, I just want to thank God for this moment.
Yes.
Just want to say thank you to everyone who has taken the time to join us once again with OConnect and our special guest, Miss Rosalind.
Mm-hmm.
This topic is a requested topic.
Yes.
So thank you for Michiko for being here with us as you requested. Here we are. So it feels good to be able to come through for people in need.
Mm-hmm.
So
Mhm.
although this is a request from you, you are sharing it with so many others. So
Yes.
we thank you for this moment as well.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
And this topic of grief, we know it all too well, all of us.
Mm,
It has touched us in so many ways, so many different seasons. And think about grief, it hits you whether you're ready or not.
that part.
And we just have to find a way to take it in, try to do the best we can with it. Nobody can explain to you how it should feel. Nobody explain to you what you shouldn't feel. It's all personal and it's all based on how you felt about the person or the situation. Doesn't have
Mm-hmm.
to be a person all the time. It could be a career, a job, a dream, whatever it may be.
Yeah.
Something that grieves your heart,
Right.
that grieves your spirit, your soul, that's put something on your mind to keep you from functioning as you would have normally. So we are just grateful to share this moment. We have people on to YouTube.
Yeah, we have a couple people on YouTube.
Okay.
Yeah, we have quite a few people on as well. There's some comments out there.
Okay.
Grief got hands for real. Got them hands for real. So that is
Yeah.
something for real. It will grab you by your throat
It can
sometimes.
hit hard. It can hit
It
hard.
can. So as we think about that, Rosalind, if you could just share with us You know, you think about when you get that call, right? When the phone rings, or you walk into a room, or the doctor says those words.
Mm-hmm.
From your experience with working with people, what actually happens in that moment? What is the body and the mind going through?
Ooh, so it could be a culmination of a lot of things, and it also depends on the situation and the
Mhm.
relationship with that person, place, or thing. Also depends on the personality and the reactions. Um, a lot of times we think of grief the moment it hits, but sometimes grief is starting beforehand because you think of different scenarios that
Mm.
aren't necessarily a shock. So
Right.
just giving like a little bit of my background, I'm not just a grief coach. I am a lifelong grief navigator. So I started to manage and deal with grief and experience it at 4 years old.
Oh, wow.
That is when my mom was diagnosed with her terminal illness, with a terminal illness, not hers, but with a terminal illness. And so little did I know that I was already dealing with grief already because it was that type of grief that I was anticipating. We call it anticipating
Mm.
grief. So it just really depends. But when you're talking about in the context of how you presented the question, it could be shock. Some people might have a premonition that something was already going to happen. Some people
Mm.
might already just kind of feel like a knowing. Depending on if the person was lifelong, you can never, if they had a long-term illness, you can never prepare for it, as Andre said. But sometimes you might have some relief. You might have some peace, as strange as that sounds. I was just coaching someone the other day who has been a long-term caregiver. And when her mom passed away, she said, I'm extremely sad, but I'm also relieved. So
Mm.
not just relieved that her mom is no longer in pain, but also relief for herself because it was a heavy weight that she was carrying. So what we also try to do is not try to be so prescriptive and say, this is what you look for. What we
Mhm.
always say in coach is listen.
Yes.
Listen, we
Yes.
know sometimes there are emergency situations where you have to immediately move into action, but a lot of times there is just the time and the moment that you have to allow yourself space and those that are supporting you to give you space to pause in that moment and to listen to
Mm.
what grief is telling you in that moment, and then allow yourself to sit with it if you can. Don't try to judge it, don't try to diagnose it, but start to monitor that. And then you can slowly but surely start to make some personal meaning making of it when it's time for you.
Yeah, I love that. As you were talking about in that moment today, I posted a little video on the social media today, because today as I was driving, um, a call came through and I saw it on my screen on my car, and I thought I saw my sister's name, Carolyn Johnson. And for a quick moment, I was like, oh, she calling me. And then I looked again and it was my other sister, Tosh, that was calling. And I was like, man. But I sat in that moment like, you know what? This is a moment that maybe, I just need to sit in it. So I love that you said that. We do have a question that came through the YouTube. And the question is, do you think grief has a beginning or an end? If so, why or why not?
Grief is not timed. There is no
Oh,
beginning and
thank
end.
you.
It is not time. It's a journey. So when you
Mhm.
think it's not a race, it is a journey. It's lifelong. And it has different phases. If you think about it, in the phase of your life, you weren't who you were at 4. You didn't react to things. You didn't have the same experiences at 4 as you do now. Your perception changes. You gain hopefully wisdom and insight. Other things happen within your life as far as your beliefs may change, or maybe you get more grounded in your beliefs. And so that thing that you're grieving, if you're grieving a thing, that means it was very significant to you. It meant
Mhm.
something to you, whether it was the positive relationship you had with it or a longing for something that you desired that you didn't get from it. And so that's going to always stay with you because it was significant. You see, grief is a gift, and it
Mm.
reminds us that something mattered to us and that we have the ability to feel deeply. That feeling does not disappear. So if someone is telling you that this should be over by this time, oh, you should get past it by this time, or it'll get better after 2 years, grief is a journey. Don't look for it to disappear. look for all the lessons that it gives you along the journey and how you grow with grief and how you walk with grief and allow it to walk with you and the lessons it's teaching you along the way.
Yes. Go ahead.
All right. Well, thank you for sharing. And we have a few more people who've joined us. We have our Aunt Janice Tucker Farrell. Thank you, Auntie, for joining us. We have Miss Tanika Edge Carter. I was thinking about you earlier. Thank you for joining. And who else do we have?
Akeem.
Our son, Akeem Tucker. Thank you, son, for joining us and supporting your family, your mom and dad. So we're just grateful for my sister, Tanya, our sister.
Mm-hmm.
How you doing, sis? Love you. So we just want to say thank everyone for taking the time out. And this topic is really, I don't know what word to even use, but sometimes you can just sit and it can hit you.
Yeah.
You can be sitting just doing nothing. You know, you finish your meal or whatever it may be, and all of a sudden something just comes over you.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, man, I miss the way grandma used to cook those pork chops.
Yeah.
Man, I missed that banana pudding. I missed that peach cobbler. It's just those little moments.
Yeah.
And, you know, for me, when I think about grief, y'all know I always talk about God. Look at my shirt. Grief started, and I always think of this. How did God feel in the garden when he had to cast out what he created, what he loved, what he purposed? How do you think that made him feel?
Wow.
That he had to send a savior in the way that he did to go through what he had to go through or decided to go through. That's grief. To lose something you had. But one thing God can do that we couldn't do, we can't get it back. But he gave us a way out and a way back to him, even in the midst of grief.
Yeah.
Even before he cast out what he created, he fixed it first. But that's something we can't do. We have to deal with it the best we know how.
Yeah.
It's not to be avoided by staying busy and just wearing yourself out, trying not to think. It's healthy.
Yes.
Because you have memories. And I'm grateful for the time, for everyone that I've lost that was near and dear to me. And grief is a part of loving and engaging life and those close to you. And the hardest part, when you think about the word loving and engaging, how do you disengage physically?
Yeah.
And still allow that love to see you through and to carry you through.
Yes.
That's the hard part, disengaging, letting go. But your heart will always hold those memories and those moments that you had. Nothing can take that from you. Nobody can take that from you. You know, at this moment, I have no more parents, no grandparents. Thank God my wife is still here. All of our children and grandchildren are still with us. There's something to be grateful for, even in the midst of loss. And like I said, we've all experienced it. We've all dealt with it the way we've dealt with it. We're still dealing with it.
Yeah.
But we have to allow one another to be a help.
Yes.
God gave us all something to give someone else to help us and to see us through. So allow the help to come.
Yeah.
Allow a help to be just what it is, a help to you in the midst of any type of loss, a dream, a job, a position, a title, whatever it may be that grieves you from the inside out. Allow someone to help you. And if you're going to help, if you're going to help, be willing to listen.
Yes, that's important.
Don't talk so much where they can't even tell you how they need you to help.
Yeah.
Be a good listener. What do we have, dude?
We have a couple comments.
Okay.
Cousin Deja said when her godmom, her mother figure, passed away, it felt like someone knocked the wind out of her. Talk about those feelings in just a moment. And then Michiko say, I try to stay in the mindset that God will never leave me. Yet there are those moments of why. I believe wholeheartedly that God does not mean for my losing Sean to be a lifetime of pain. Oh, can you explain it further how grief is a gift? And I want to, once you answer that, I have another question that's on YouTube that is in addition or conjunction with that. Grief is a gift. So we'll give you a chance to answer this one, then I'll go right to YouTube and ask that other question because it kind of lines all in it.
Sure. So, grief is a gift in the sense that grief teaches us how complex, in depth life is. That life is more than the surface
Mm-hmm.
of the happy moments, of the tangible things. It lets us know that when we do talk about time, that our time here in our physical being is limited. So
Mm.
therefore, with that, we should be doing something with that, meaning that engaging with each other more, pausing
Mm.
and not just listening to each other, but listening to ourselves, and then really looking at the lessons that life is giving us.
Mm.
So when that time is ended for that particular dynamic and situation, doesn't mean it's totally over. You have
Yeah.
lessons that you take from that. You have those memories that you take from that. And it is my personal belief, and this is not for anybody to take on, but the energy of that thing, and we all know that energy doesn't die. What does it do? It transitions and it transforms.
Mm-hmm.
It has to go somewhere. So when Andre was talking about disengaging, I like to
Mm-hmm.
call it conscious detachment. So
Yes.
what we're training ourselves to think, and that's not actually training, but reframing our narrative and our relationship with life and death, is that nothing lasts forever
Mm.
its original form, or I should say, most things don't. And so, what we have to do is be able to adapt to the shift and the change of that, and then be able to understand what is being left behind for me to hold on to and what is left behind for me to release. So, when I talk about the gift, I will tell you the reason why I have such a comfortable and healthy relationship with life and with people is because I'm comfortable with death. I have a healthy
Okay.
relationship with death, and I only learned that through grief.
Mm.
Only learned that through grief. So I look at
Mhm.
life differently. My perception is different. I look at my relationships differently. I look at it as a measured time. I'm looking at it authentically. And then I'm never holding on to a thing as permanent.
Yeah.
Not because I'm
Yeah.
avoiding it, but I'm learning to live in the moment, the
Yeah.
present moment. And then I'm also learning the stillness of oneness. That although we
Mm.
have all these things, our people, the places, the job, at the end of the day, our grounding is in ourself. The relationship is
Mm.
with self. And when we talk about God, for those of us that are believers, God is not separate from us, God is in us. And
Yeah.
although God is all powerful, guess what? We also have that power as well if we're believers. So you have the piece of that understanding, and God leaves that behind for us to manage that. So if that did not help, let me know, and I'll reiterate more.
Okay. The other question is grief, if grief is a gift or reminder of how impactful something or someone was in our lives, why is it so often associated with sadness?
That's because the world is just not grief intelligent. It's
Talk
just
more about that. Grief
the
intelligent.
we're not a grief intelligent society because when we look at death, we think of death as a punishment. Let's just be
Mm.
real about it, right? It's family here, and I hope everybody's got their meal or snacks as we're talking around the table. We're not a grief intelligent society, and when we think about grief, we don't look at all the other emotions that come with it. There is
Mm.
joy in grief. There is peace in grief. You will have anger. You will have frustration, but it's not just sadness. And sadness is not a bad thing.
Yeah.
Sadness is not a bad thing. We avoid those things because those are the things that you really have to sit with and truly manage. We avoid the things that are complex because you got to look within yourself. And I hope everybody's really picking that up. Our society looks at when you hear the post and you see the post that says, "Hey, thank God you woke up this morning because somebody else is in the grave." Little contradictory, right, to some of our beliefs when
Mm-hmm.
we say when we say to be, be gone in spirit or gone in physical is to be one with God. So why should I be grieving if I didn't wake up this morning, if that makes
Yeah.
sense? So,
Yeah.
but that's because people are looking at that as a punishment, and it's not. Death is just another transition in life.
Yeah.
Or here, this is a timed journey.
Mm.
And the narrative has to change. Grief is not timed, your journey is timed.
Mm. Yeah. That's good. I hope that answered your questions. If not, please post in the chat and let us know if she needs to expand on that. I want to just lean in real quick to see if you have anything to add to that.
Just to thought about something you were saying about it being a gift. I look at it in a sense of sometimes we're so distracted. Sometimes we take one another for granted.
Mhm.
Sometimes we even take time for granted, thinking we have time
Mm.
to get things right with people, to plan things and actually follow through. And we make plans, and sometimes it takes years to follow through. And sometimes that time is not there when you look for it.
Mhm.
But in that moment of grieving, I see it as a gift as well because it's an opportunity to draw closer to the one that can comfort you.
Mhm.
It's an opportunity to readjust and dedicate more of you to God
Mhm.
because you know that's what you really need in that time.
Mhm.
But before those moments, sometimes we don't realize hmm, or take the opportunities that God gives us to draw closer to Him, but we expect Him to draw closer to us. So in those moments, it is a gift because God is always there for us. He's always with us. And it's up to us to take the moments and the opportunities to draw closer so He can help us in a way that people can't. So He understands the way people don't understand. And He can do sometimes what people can't do for us. So it's a gift because it's a moment to draw closer.
As you were talking about that, whew, a memory popped up when my sister passed away, and I had to go to North Carolina to pack up her house and sell her things. It was a very big lift, and my parents didn't have the capacity to take care of it. And I was the sister, and so it was four of us, and I was the one that more business minded. So it took the reins to say I want to make sure that I take care of this for my sister. But when I tell you God was with us, He went before us, and He gave me what I would call supernatural strength because my sister that passed was like my heartbeat. And so I felt when I heard the words that she was no longer here, I needed to see her. So they FaceTime because I needed to see. I needed to make sure this was real. But I felt my heart like skip a beat in a bad way. And I was like, okay, God, how am I going to do this? How am I going to put myself together so I can take care of her stuff? And when I tell you God is always present, you just gotta lean in and listen and just be. Sometimes you gotta just be still and be quiet. And He shows up because He surrounded us. We went there and we cleaned the house and we walked around, we prayed over the house. It was such peace and comfort. And I was able to do the things that I would have never thought I had the strength to do if it had not been for the relationship, the alignment that I have with God. And He saw so it that we were able to sell the furniture. I'm gonna tell this testimony. I didn't told it before, but I'm telling it again. So we were selling her stuff and we were going to have a yard sale. And Andre called the people that was supposed to be on the HOA, but it was another person that answered the phone. And she was like, well, we're not the HOA, but we were looking to, get some things from a yard sale. And he said, well, you know what? That just lucked out. We got some things that we selling. So they came over that evening and they looked through and they were going through and they was seeing what they wanted. They got like probably, I would say 25-30% of the stuff. They came back the next day and got 80% more of what was her stuff that was able to help us out and get the house clean in a weekend. And here's the kicker. They said that they were, what did they say? They were people who were setting up churches. So they had like a house that they were setting up for the people that were coming in, the pastors and all those that were coming in. They were setting up a house for them, and they needed furniture to uh, place in the house. So I was like, what better thing for this to happen? How God just put this in place where we got rid of most of the furniture that we need to get rid of. Someone is taking it and they are leveraging in a way that is God filled. And then they came back and said, we looked up your sister and we saw all the great things that we she did. Can we have her obituary and a picture of her? Because we want to place her in this home. So she is still sitting in a home in North Carolina, even though her house ain't there no more. She's still placed in a position where God has her. So I say that to say, God always shows up. He's an on-time God, and if you ask Him for something, He will give it to you. Because I'm a witness, so I wanted to
just want to pause and thank Cousin Vera Franks for joining us. Thank you, family, for joining us. Cousin Deja had a comment.
What helps me process death is knowing that they don't have to deal with the troubles of life that we as living may have to face, if that makes sense. It does. I'm like, y'all gone. We still here. We still got to deal with some of this foolishness.
I mean, we do. And then they're also,
I call it foolishness because I'm over here.
And they're unfolding into their highest selves, right? And whatever that is, that next transition for them, if you believe that. Some people don't believe that there is the afterlife or there's next day. Some people believe that once they're gone, and we're not here, right, to press that belief or to try to change their mind. But that, what I always say is, your perspective works for you. Your belief works for you. And if that gives you comfort and it's not jaded in some unrealistic thing, that is healthy. So kudos to you for that. Kudos to you for that.
Absolutely.
The other thing that I want to add as far as grief being a gift is that, I don't know if anybody else can attest to this that's listening, is that for me, with every grief experience and those that I coach and partner with, there's a growth opportunity. It's showing you something about yourself, about life, the situation, how to manage a thing, how to approach a thing, how life operates. It gives you a greater perspective. It's almost like a portal to a higher level of thinking, a higher frequency of thinking. And so if you lean into it, and not just lean into it, but allow grief to be that companion, that is a natural companion of life, you really are allowing yourself to go to that higher level of functioning, thinking, perspective. So it's a growth opportunity as well. So that's another thing that grief gives you, as far as you mature a lot quicker, for lack of a better word. You do.
Well, I want to talk about the avoidance of grief, right? When people don't process that grief. I mean, I'm sharing because I know of a person who, she lost a parent, and in their mind, they said that parent is on vacation and never really dealt with it. What happens when we hold on to things and we don't really deal with the loss? And that could be any loss. What we just kind of put it off to the side, sweep it under the rug, just really not deal with it. What happens?
So in that situation, that is a true situation of avoidance. And the simple thing is that you just don't move forward. You stay stagnant. It's an unhealthy reality. So you're not dealing in reality. And that likely is impacting the way in which you approach life, period. Not just the grief, but I'm sure that's playing out in other things. So that in itself, stagnation, it's quite unhealthy. You're not dealing in the reality of life. And I think we all know what happens there. The other thing I want to point out, though, is sometimes what looks like avoidance to one is really just how the other person processes. So some people say that someone is avoiding grief because they're not talking about it, or because they're not showing emotions that they think should be accompanied by grief. And that's not actually the truth. That is the way in which that person is processing. Or perhaps you're just not seeing it, right? Grief doesn't have to be on display. My grief doesn't have to be on display to make you feel comfortable. It's about my process. The other thing too is, because we are not such a intelligent society, it is not easy for people to grieve publicly in a safe space, and it is so sacred. So perhaps I'm not grieving in front of you because you're not creating that safe space. So I think one of the things that we just have to
Mm,
be cognizant of is that what may look like avoidance to you may just be look like a different way that I'm processing, or maybe I'm processing in this area or with someone else that you're just not privy to. Because at the end of the day, my grief is my journey. I'm the expert on my grief and my journey. And if I'm sharing something with you, I'm inviting you in, and that is a sacred thing.
I love that you said that because when we connected with you, you also shared that with us as well, saying that, Andre's grief is how he grieves. And I was looking at it like he ain't grieving. But my mom was like, grief looks like this. But you called in how grief for me looks different than grief for Andre, or grief for anybody. It's your journey. And I think that's important to just stress. Your grief is your journey. Process it how you need to process it without really worrying about what other people are going to be thinking, or how they say you should grieve. It's how you need to grieve. And I think that's really key.
It's how you need to grieve. And the other thing that's key is that my relationship with that person, place, or thing is not the same. You and I may have both lost, me and Andre both lost our moms, or our moms died, passed away. But I might be able to relate on some degree, but I really can't, because it's still not the same. His
Yeah.
relationship with his mom is different than my relationship. Happened
Mm-hmm.
at different times of our lives. I have different beliefs. Andre has different beliefs. Andre processes differently. I process differently. I have a different relationship with life and death. So does Andre. Where I am in my life is different. All of those things play into that. So we can't tell people that, oh, I know what you're going through. I mean, you can, but not really. What we can really say is, I can only imagine what you're going through. I lost my mother too, but I'm giving you space to be here as you process as you need to. How can I be of best support to you? You tell me, I'll follow your lead.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Just want to go back to Machiko for a moment. Like I said, this was your request. You already made a comment, but just want to make sure that you're getting what you need from this, and you're expressing what you need to express in this moment. So
Here's what she put. She said, "Oh wow, that revelation said to me, taking life for granted. I must add that to my journal. That's it. Scripture says, be ye also ready. I live that absent of death. I apply the scripture only to my daily activities, not for death. Now I think seeing it as a gift, I attribute it to not taking life for granted. It's like every day is a gift. So when a loved one leaves this earth, it won't be so painful because we cherish their being here on a daily basis." And I do have to go to my other screen to read the rest of it. She also said that, cherish the good, bad, and indifference, because I have way more good, great, cherishable, loving memories. Thank you. I love that.
man,
I
I love
love it.
it. And
Yes.
please, like Andre said, if something's not hitting you or it's not clear, please let us know. We're here to help you. Other
She
things to
said,
think
trust me, she's getting it. This is
about.
exactly what she needed. So she's
well,
getting it. And I just want to put this in here. This is just part one. Rosalind will be coming back in 2 weeks to be with us again. So don't think this is just we cut and dry. She coming back again and giving us another part of just to talk through this, because grief can be deep.
Oh, it's
It
complex.
can be broad, right? It's just not one little thing. So just know that we're not stopping here. It's a continual process. So I want to just pause and see if you want to add
okay,
anything.
we have someone else.
That's just her. Just Michiko. Oh, Kamisha
No,
just joined.
Oh, I'm so
Hi,
glad.
Kamisha. I see it. I see it. All
Mika
right.
and everybody, one other nugget. When we talk about conscious detachment, I want to invite everybody to remember, when it comes to the death of a loved one or someone who was significant to us, I know it's hard sometimes to accept this, but their journey is their journey. Your journey is your journey.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
We are not, I know a lot of things in marriage and all of that, till death do us part, but the reality is yes, you walk along beside each other, but it's still your journey.
Yeah.
Our
Yeah.
job and our role is to walk beside each other in our journeys. And when that person's time is over within that dynamic and vice versa, we appreciate that. And we appreciate the
Mhm.
gifts that they left behind for us, whether it was a complex gift to learn, whether it
Yeah.
was not necessarily a desire that we needed to learn, but there was something in there, right? Or it showed us some fortitude within ourselves. But just understand at the end of the day, it's really about your journey and how you navigate and manage life's transitions, period.
I love that you said that about really sometimes what we do is we put our expectations on other people. And it's
Mhm.
like, but your expectations are yours and theirs are theirs. And it puts strain and stress on people when you add that additional expectation on someone. So I love that you just kind of call that in of just some things to be mindful of. You have yours, I have mine. How do we walk alongside each other? How do we complement each other in the time in the season that we are together, right? Until that, that death do us part, or even if it, in some cases, is you have that divorce. I love as you say, appreciate the season that you're in, whatever the loss may be. Just appreciate that. So yeah.
Appreciate that and be honored, right? That
Mhm.
you had the opportunity to share that journey with them, that person, place, or thing, and vice versa, and
Mhm.
appreciate it for what it is.
Mhm.
For me, as you were both speaking about the word indifference,
Mhm.
seasons,
Mhm.
it's mine, it's yours. With those thoughts that may be different, sometimes we have to be very sensitive when there's no seems to be no common ground
Mhm.
when we're trying to be there for someone.
Mhm.
Because trying to help sometimes can become or feel like a strain
Mhm.
when you feel like they're not receiving in the way that you're
Mhm.
actually giving it.
Mhm.
So it can also cause another loss in the midst of helping someone in their time of grief. Sometimes friendships,
Mhm.
sometimes marriages.
Mhm.
That was my mom. You don't understand. Whatever it may have been or may be,
Mhm.
we have to be careful when there seems to be no common ground. And we have to learn how to, if you believe in praying, we have to learn how to pray.
Mhm.
We learn how to be sensitive in the spirit and allow the spirit to lead us.
Mhm.
And sometimes you don't know what to say. Just be there.
Mhm.
You don't have to say
Mhm.
anything.
Yeah.
Sometimes your presence means more than anything that you can say.
Yeah.
For somebody to see someone, it means a whole lot.
Yeah.
So,
Love
When
how
we
you
say
call it that.
help, when we say help, if I'm helping you in the way that you need,
Exactly.
not
But
in
that's
the way
not what we do though.
not in the way that
We,
I think you need, or not in the way that I want to help you. If I'm really helping you,
mhm.
I'm helping you in the way that you need and what the situation requires, and I'm following
I
your
love it.
lead.
Yeah, when you
yeah,
said that, because oftentimes we think we know what someone needs based on our own needs, and we don't ask the question, "What do you need? What do you need from me at this moment? What do you need me to be?" Because you don't know what that person needs. They may just need to be. They may just need prayer. They just may need you to sit there and hold them. They just may need you to sit there and listen to them vent. Whatever their need is, we don't ask the question, what do you
Ask the
need? What do
question.
you need me to do for
And if
you?
they don't know the answer in that moment, sit with them and let it come to them. And
Mm-hmm.
then what you do is you don't keep giving them the answer. You might
Yeah.
continue to ask some questions to help them
Mm-hmm.
arrive at the answer. Because guess what? Amika, earlier you said God gives us supernatural power, but we're created in supernatural power,
Come on
right?
now.
We
Come
are
on.
created, we are a bundle of supernatural power. So when all of
Yeah.
this fades, I'm still supernatural, right?
Yes.
At
Yes.
any given moment, that wisdom comes to me. And it may come internally and it may come by way of you, but you better believe that that supernatural has given me that confirmation as well. Again, I'm the expert in my journey because I'm living it.
Absolutely.
And I'm the constant in it. You're
Yeah.
not. See, you
Yeah.
might go away, you're here with me for 5 or 10 minutes, but I'm the constant in it. I'm living this thing
Yeah.
constant. I hope
I
that's
wanna-
somebody.
That is very helpful. I want to pause just for a moment and go into the comments. I don't see any comments on YouTube right now, but we do have a couple comments in the stream. And Tanika said, I love this and needed all of this. So thank you, Rosalind, Andre, for just pouring in. My cousin Deja said, I'm real heavy on appreciating people while they're here because death is permanent. uh that's important to appreciate them while they're here. And then Tanya, our sister, said, thank you, this is really helping me. These 3 years have been hard, and this month has had me in a chokehold. We're so glad that you came on, because this is why we're doing this, right? Because we all are going through some type of grief, and we really want to make sure that we're giving you resources and tools and even different ideas to think of how do we navigate this, to Rosalind's point. How do we deal with this? So I'm glad you were able to join. We have Deja said, the hardest grief for me is grieving someone that is still living. We're going to talk about that in just a minute.
Ambiguous
We're gonna
grief.
put a plug in that, because we do need to talk about that. We do need to talk about that.
It might be session 2, because that's a whole different ambiguous grief.
Listen, we got to be 2. So we're gonna put that as part 2, because that is heavy too. That's grieving somebody while they still living. Ooh, we got some stories to tell. Tanika said, thank you for creating this safe space to share, process, and heal. I can relate to the statement made by Deja on grieving someone that's still living. So see, this is something.
Oh, we got you. Oh, we
He
definitely
just told me this. He said, you doing this right now. So we definitely have to talk more about this, because again, we don't want to start something and then we have to break it up. So that's going to be part 2. Y'all just gave me the title for part 2.
There
Grieving someone that is still living. That's going to be part 2. And that's going to be February 5th. I want to just plug that in there. February 5th, we're going to be coming back with part 2. But we thank you for these comments and the questions that you all are having, because that's what this is all about, right? Creating that safe space so that we can have conversations, honest conversations about things that we don't really, sometimes we don't even know how to deal with it. If I can think about loss, when I was growing up, my grandma passed away, and she was so special to me. And I was 12. I can remember it like it's today. And nobody really taught me how to grieve. No one really talked about it. They buried her, and then that was it. We ain't talking about it no more. It was just gone. Life goes on. But we never had a chance to really just, what is grief? How do I deal with this?
Omikio, you just dropped a word. In our culture specifically, in my experience, right? I talk about this a lot in my content and when I'm coaching people and on my platforms. The soldiering through.
Yes.
We're taught to, you go and, okay, the person died, we have the funeral. And then in some aspects, and hear me clearly, everybody, our spirituality is everything. But understand that you cannot just pray grief away.
Mm.
That is not how that works.
Mm.
That is not how that works. You have to face it. You have to sit through it. Sometimes it will be years where you are just feeling like someone said that you're in a chokehold. But trust and believe me that if you are sitting through that thing and allowing it to sit through you consciously, you're monitoring, you're measuring, you're talking to the right people, you're getting the right help. You are actually building a trajectory for yourself, a strategy for yourself that says, okay, on this day, maybe I didn't feel like getting out of bed, but I'm going to sit with this thing, and maybe in 3 days I'll get out of bed. And on this thing, what is grief telling me today? And then let me sit with it and process it, and then apply that lesson the next day. I promise you, you will have a healthier way of navigating and managing it. But I want to reiterate again, you can't just pray it away. It's not God is just going to fix it. All of those things, it'll get better over time. You have to face it. As much of a gift that grief is, it's also very complex. So that is why you have to have that right level of expertise with you.
I want
Go
to
ahead.
jump in real quick because when you talked about being in the bed for a day or 3 days, because we have been taught how to soldier through, guilt sets in as I should not be in this bed. I need to get up. I need to be moving. I need to be doing something because people are like, well, you know what? They're not here no more. Life don't stop because this person passed. And it doesn't. However, it goes back to how someone grieves. Their process is their process. And we shouldn't feel guilty because our process doesn't look like somebody else's process.
This is the thing about grief, because grief is that portal opener, right? To push you through.
Yeah.
And to also allow you, right, to align with a greater gift of life. Death brings about life. Remember that. Something has to die in order for there to be life. So with that, you just have to tell people, I can't listen to what you have to say. I have to do what's right for me. Now, if you're in the bed for years, that's different. That's that avoidance that you're talking about. But you have to face that thing. You have to do what works for you. My own grief coaches over the years would tell me, Rosalind, don't get out of bed, because I am a power thrower. Do not get up and work out. Oh, go get that Snickers bar. Go eat that Snickers bar. Go have your glass of wine. Do what you need to do, but monitor it. Just like a good trainer will tell you, go have your cheat day. Do what you need to do, but stay on your square. But the other thing too is, if you don't do those things, if you soldier through, here's the thing about grief. It don't play. It's going to knock on your door.
It's going to show up.
You don't want to face it, that thing's going to come one way or the other. And what you don't want it to do is you don't want it to show up in sickness because you have kept it bottled in. You don't want it to show up in you just walking through life and you're not living life unconsciously. You don't want it to show up in your relationships because you bottled, you're not dealing with your emotions, and then therefore you're bleeding on other people. You see where I'm going, everybody? That's other ways that it can show up. And you do not want that to happen and create other stressors and unhealthy habits.
Yeah. I want to pause a minute to allow you to chime in, Andre, and then I'm going to go to the comments. But as she was talking, another component of that is mental. The mental is, our minds are, it's an important piece of that equation too. So I'll pause for you.
One thing we have to understand is grief also has certain types of connections. And those connections are personal to you. And it didn't just start there, but the grief actually activates or reiterates something that was already there that makes it feel worse.
Yeah.
So it was abandonment. If a certain parent wasn't there the way you wanted them or needed them to be, and you always had that yearning for that person to be there, to be present, and to feel relevant in their lives, now they're gone. So now that feeling of abandonment as a child or whatever age it may have been, it's intensified now because now you feel like there's not even a chance. You know, there's hope when they're still here. Even if you don't see them, if it's not really reciprocated, just because they're still here, you feel that one day there's still hope. But when they leave us, that abandonment kicks in, that loss, dealing with the loss kicks in. And sometimes we never get to grieving the loss of the person because the abandonment takes over our hearts and it hurts all over again. So we have to get through that all over again just to get to the grief. And sometimes we don't really get to it.
Yeah.
And a lot of us have not had a parent that we really wish had been there. Yeah. Even in their presence. Yeah. And that's just one connection. We'll talk about the rest later, but you know.
Yeah.
And that connection too is, and grief is not meant there to make it feel worse, right?
Yeah.
It may feel worse, right? It may feel intense at the time, but grief is really there to shine a light onto it, expose the truth of the matter.
That part.
That part. Which could be abandonment, which could be, I was angry at you for this, or I wish you had done this, or I wish I had done, or this was the lesson in that. And it's to shine the light on the things, good, bad, or indifferent. No judgment on any of those words.
Yes.
So Michiko said, what's being said here is powerful. Listening and typing is opening my eyes and heart to a lot. I just thought on how I tend to isolate myself because people want to speak doom and gloom, thinking they're helping. I'm so thankful for my relationship with God. I mean, you kind of expect seasons that's kind of set in their ways. Still say you'll never get over the pain. Really? Even young people say things that's crazy. Yet I know it's meant well by them. It's like no one wants to gain knowledge. And I got to go to my other screen over here of grief to serve a person of God's promises. And I won't let go of him, not wanting me to be in pain. So we thank you for that, Michiko, because
Can I
again,
say
you've experienced it.
Can I
Yeah.
say something big on that, Michiko? I
Yes.
hope it's with you. I'm speaking directly to you, my friend. That isolation is the solitude, the necessarily solitude and grief, most likely. So think of yourself when you've gone through a very serious surgery and they put you in isolation and they tell people that they can't come around you and only a select people because they don't want you to get infected and this and that. So it's really a protection, an incubator, if you will. So sometimes that isolation, and I'm not saying you're saying this is a negative thing. It is your protection. It is your need for your secure time for you to be one
Mhm.
with yourself. Because guess what? There's a version of you that is changing, and that's
Mm.
good. You are transforming, should you choose to become something even greater within yourself as a result of what you've experienced. So that solitude is oftentimes needed. I see it resonates. I got you. Got you. I'm speaking to
Yeah.
you. Anybody else?
I love that you said that because sometimes we do need to be isolated.
Yeah.
Sometimes God will isolate us from to protect us, to keep us away from some of the things that mean us harm. So sometimes you definitely need to be in isolation. I love
And
that you
people
kind of
mean well, Amikio, right? But kind of what they're saying, it may be a projection
yeah,
unintentionally, or what they're
yeah.
saying, it can be taking, distracting you from where you really need to sit.
Mm-hmm.
Sit in that silence, that reflection, that solitude, that meditation, so that you can understand what's my next step forward
Yeah.
and what grief is revealing to me. What's it uncovering for me?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I love that. Andre?
What's Andre
Yeah.
laughing? When Andre snickles, I know he's got something to say. What are you sniggling
I
about?
know, right? I'm trying to see what he's thinking. You know, his mind be turning all the time.
No, as you were speaking about isolation, I thought about there's a time in people's lives where they're in ICU, the
Mm-hmm.
intensive care unit.
Mm-hmm.
And what is that saying to someone? When you get a call and say someone's in ICU, there's a something really serious happening.
Mm.
This, and it doesn't have to be an accident. It can be a nervous breakdown. It could be anything.
Mm-hmm.
But that person needs time away for special care, for special attention, and to just be alone with only those that can be a help.
Mm-hmm.
So as you were speaking, I thought about ICU,
Yeah,
intensive care, and
yeah.
sometimes that's where God needs us to be,
That's where God needs us to
where,
be.
where He can intentionally
Mm-hmm.
care for us, as we intentionally allow Him to care for us in those moments that we are alone.
Mm-hmm.
And that's some of my best seasons.
Mm-hmm.
I
You
tell
know,
listen,
yeah.
high five on that. High five on that. Because I'll tell you, and in that ICU, remember, not everybody, not every type of doctor, not every type of nurse is in ICU. Those are the specialists, okay? So those are the time you need the specialists that are there with you. And they're also telling you to sit there and do nothing.
Mm.
Yeah.
Sit there,
So
learn to do nothing and let
Yeah.
people care for you, or allow yourself to nurture yourself. So we always remember, yes, that external support is good too, but we also have to learn to nurture ourselves. We are priority
Mm.
one, and we don't know that very well in our society, how to nurture
Yeah.
ourselves.
Yes.
yeah.
As you two were talking, and you're talking about ICU, and you're talking about, what I love about this too, if you think about even when you go into a surgery and there's a
Mhm.
process of that healing process starts, sometimes they'll push you and say, hey, you need to walk and you need to do those things, right? They're giving you steps. So we have about 5 minutes. So this leads me into what I would love for you to close us out with is, can you give our listeners some practical steps if someone is listening right now, realize that they have not processed grief, what can they do to start today? Just some practical, actionable steps that they can just, you can give some advice about.
Here's a practical step. First of all, be patient with yourself. Give yourself grace.
Yes.
What that looks like is no pressure to say I should be here, I
Mhm.
should be there. Why am I crying all the time? Or why am I not crying? Give yourself grace. So sit.
Mhm.
And then what I do want to ask you and invite you to do is give yourself some time, dedicated time once a day, whether that's 10 or 15 minutes, to sit with yourself and just listen. No words, no thoughts, no actions, nothing. And then see what is being said to you. And then ask yourself, what do I need in this moment? May
Mhm.
not get the answer immediately, but listen and wait for the answer. The answer, I promise you, will come.
Mhm.
And then you'll be able to decide and start mapping out what you need. What you might
Mhm.
need is, I might need to reduce some phone calls. I might need to separate from this friend. I might need to get out and walk 5 or 10 minutes. I might need to go seek some help. But sit with yourself and ask of yourself, what do I need in this moment? And that's your first step to giving yourself attention and
Mhm.
nurture. You're training yourself to do that on a regular, whether you're going through grief or not.
Yeah. You want to say something?
Yeah, something else.
I'm going to ask her to share. I would love for you to share your website, your social media, how anyone can get in touch with you, to work with you, any resources and offers that you may have. So if you can share that, that would be great. And then I'm going to turn it over to Andre to close us out.
You got it. It's been a pleasure to be with you all, an honor, actually. So thank you for inviting me into your sacred space. My website is rrichardprice.com, and it's spelled Richard, but it's pronounced Richard. So that's rrichardprice.com. And then you can also reach me if you want to email me, rprice@rrichardprice.com. Then you can reach me on LinkedIn as well, Rosalind R. Price. I'm on Facebook. I'm on IG, Rosalind Price. And then the good news is, starting in February, my program, Mind the Transitions, will be featured on Grief TV through the Roku channel, streaming in February. So I'll make sure to share those details with Omikyo and Andre so you guys can follow me there. My program offerings. If you go into my website, you can see everything that I offer, from one-on-one coaching, group coaching. You can just follow me for content. Anything that you need, I'm here. There's also free resources on there. There's a Mind the Transitions checklist that can give folks, Omikyo, that step-by-step guide of where they can start or pick up where they are in their journey with grief. So thank you all.
I love that. And I will make sure that I get all that stuff and add it to this recording, so you have it available to you. I am going to turn it over to Andre. I do know we're going to come back again on February 5th. We'll get with you with the timing. I'll make sure I get that timing. I'm not sure if it'll be 7 o'clock or we're going to go back to our regular time, which is 6 o'clock p.m. Central Standard Time, but we'll let you know. We'll be sending some things out. Andre?
Yeah, this has been so enlightening, refreshing, necessary,
Yes.
relevant, in any other words you can think of. So thank you, Ms. Rosalind, for your presence,
Thank
sharing your
you.
professionalism,
Thank
and
you.
taking the time out to be with us and everyone else who is listening now and who will listen later.
Mm-hmm.
And we pray that something was said and it could be a help. It can be a start.
Mm-hmm.
It can help to resolve some things. So thank you to my sister Tanya for joining. And this is something that's, we have the same dad. That 3 years, our dad passed away in January of, was it 23?
Mm-hmm.
And something he always said when he left your presence or got ready to hang up the phone was peace and blessings.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
He has so many different sayings that
Mm-hmm.
people just always say.
Yeah.
But to my sister, I love you. I know it's been a journey for you. Sometimes girls and dads are different.
Mm-hmm.
So even though I don't get it completely, I'm still your brother and I love you. So thank you for joining us. And I hope this was a help to you.
Yes.
Yeah. Thank you to our children that have joined us, Ashley and Akeem, and I don't know who else may have joined, but thank you all as well. The loss that me and your mom have experienced, it was your loss as well.
Yeah.
Grandmothers, aunties, cousins, whoever it may be, we all have a
Mm-hmm.
loss.
Yeah.
It's not just because they're my sibling, my mama, whoever. It's your loss too.
Yeah.
So thank you for sharing that with us and being there. Be together as a family.
Yeah.
So to everyone, I pray that God will continue to bless your journey, will regulate your minds and your hearts. And as we share in one another's sufferings, just know it can bring us closer together and strengthen us as family, as friends, and as loved ones. So with that being said, we love you. And as we leave your presence, we pray that God will continue to be with you and bless you and keep you until next time.
Bye, everybody.
Thank you for tuning in.